We all know someone who talks relentlessly about their next big move. They plan to build a company, write a book, or overhaul their life. Yet a year later, they are standing exactly where they started. Cultural labels for this behavior are common. We call it laziness or a lack of discipline, assuming the person simply lacks the will to start. Chronic procrastination often functions as a mechanism for emotional regulation. When an individual stays in the thinking phase, their internal reward system provides enough satisfaction to keep them comfortable. The dream remains flawless because it is never tested against the friction of reality. Understanding why this happens requires mapping the neurological life cycle of a goal, beginning with the moment an idea is conceived. Phase 1 is conception. This is the stage where you visualize future success without establishing any immediate concrete milestones for execution. The human brain contains a biological glitch. The ventral striatum struggles to distinguish between imagined triumphs and real-world achievements. It floods both with identical dopamine. This substitution effect means as dopamine spikes, blood pressure drops, physically lowering your readiness for work. The body enters a state of deep relaxation. You feel emotionally satisfied and entirely accomplished, all while sitting completely still. Vividly imagining success sedates the drive required to initiate the first step. In phase 2, the dreamer moves into eternal preparation. They spend weeks organizing, researching, and detailing the plan, yet the launch date never arrives. Constant planning serves as a form of ego protection. As long as a project remains a plan, it stays entirely safe from rejection or failure. This defense mechanism is metabolically expensive. The prefrontal cortex uses a glycogen battery for executive functions. Mapping every hypothetical edge case drains it. Simulating failures in a closed loop consumes energy, leaving the individual in complete cognitive depletion. This leaves the dreamer mentally exhausted. The energy required for actual work was consumed by the internal effort of protecting the ego from hypothetical mistakes. Phase 3 is execution. At this stage, the individual often waits for a feeling of readiness or a burst of motivation before starting the difficult tasks. Behavioral research shows that motivation is a result of action rather than its prerequisite. Waiting to feel like it ensures stagnation. This leads to cognitive dissonance. When a core identity anchored in comfort tries to engage in high-friction work, the two states clash. The brain resolves this tension by sabotaging the task, forcefully ejecting the uncomfortable activity to preserve the familiar self-narrative. Ultimately, seeking a sense of readiness is merely a stalling tactic that keeps you locked safely within a comfortable identity. Chronic planners are often chasing the romantic status of having potential rather than the success itself. A big idea provides an immediate emotional high, but building that idea involves repetitive, unglamorous tasks where the rewards are delayed by months or years. The primary difference between those who execute and those who remain paralyzed is boredom tolerance. Psychological stamina is the ability to execute mundane tasks long after the initial excitement of the dream has evaporated. Breaking the cycle of paralysis requires discarding the flawless plan and embracing the friction of the process. Small, consistent actions are what rewrite the identity loop. Action precedes readiness.